The COVID-19 pandemic was only supposed to be a 2-week at-home quarantine. However, it's obviously lasted much more longer than that. The Center for Disease Control said just in the United States, there has been over 2 million cases confirmed and over 52,000 people died from the COVID-19 pandemic. Cases continue to rise every single day. Public health expert of the CDC state the flu and COVID-19 are both in infection respiratory disease. COVID-19 is caused by infection with the new type coronavirus, and influenza is caused by infection with the influenza virus. COVID-19 seems to spread more easily than flu and cause some people to develop more serious illness. The incubation period of the symptom is also longer, and people's infection is maintained longer too. Dr. Owen, a doctor of the nursing practice in the Seattle, Washington, wrote his frustration with the pandemic. He was started to learn. He has signed much diet certificate than any other practice in the Seattle, and he is feeling much more anger and frustration than I did before, because much what I was dealing with right now was preventable, he said. The other day, there was a lady I was taking care with, who is coming from a local nursing home, and it was very clear that she was nearly the end. Owen said, I just picked up her hand. I sat there. I hold her hand for about 25 minutes until she took her last breath. He then stepped out of the room and called the patient's daughter. Dr. Owen's anger and frustration is very valid, with several vaccines out in the U.S. now. A state up by the NPR states that 1 in 4 American people do not want the vaccine. The vaccine is an important tool to help stop the spread of the virus. Reason for not wanting the vaccine vary from the personal autonomy, distrust in the government, and personal safety concern. I don't know. Do anybody remember the 2 years ago? Um, some school in the Rockland County have to be closed due to the spread of the chicken pox. Chicken pox used to be cause a lot of people die, but since the people took in the chicken pox vaccine, there is a preventer the prevent and help the people. The public health expert at the John Hopkins School of the Public Health said the vaccination is safe. Our best way to start the pandemic and is an important tool to help start the virus from the spreading. We need to reach herd immunity to water to get a more to go to the more a more normal life, which requires 70 to 85% of the population to be inoculated. Not only does the vaccine protect ourselves, it also protects our community. Getting the vaccine is our silver duty. The world is forever changed and will never fully compare to how it is. But picture that a few years later, we have finally reached a life that closer resembles the life we had once before. Family and friends are finally able to come together safely for the celebration of the wedding. Grew up people gather is not venues to listen to their favorite artists perform songs they were released in the peak of the pandemic. The best of the music rejuvenate all life. Basketball fanatics spend their summer cheering on their team with a throttle in the hand and huddle in the other. Alongside hundreds of the other fans in the stadium, college students can spend their academic semester study there in the Australia, Spain, Thailand, Australia, or all country all over the world. Elementary students are not longer to learn how to pronounce alphabet through the uh, teacher with the max on. Get your COVID vaccine as soon as it becomes available to you. Help your friend and family find the vaccination site and what to debate any myths about the vaccine. It's our silver duty. Thank you. And this and and this is my card. Thank you.